In the bottom left as player 1 we have Spotyus playing Greenfinger. And in the top right as player 2 we have TimeKey playing Volder. So we're not seeing a Volder mirror even though that was on the table. Spotyus deciding to go with the Greenfinger. They started a few minutes ago. I gave them the okay. We're just gonna go through the first few turns quickly. Nothing too out of the usual. Both commanders going center. Mages going for these captures on the sides. With this sword, go for this village. They're gonna capture the hideouts at the regular time. And we're caught up. So we only missed the first couple turns. And we're even seeing them go for captures and heals. Same side as same village. So they're going for mirrored opening. It's going to be interesting to see how Greenfinger plays this one out. We're seeing the sword go for the decap. Or for the capture even. And this mage should be able to do a decap. That capture comes in. Greenfinger goes to the side, so not going to center. Ooh, this is interesting. Sending the sword to the middle. Doesn't want to give... You don't want to go for a capture just yet. Because, you know, Volder can decap and that's one turn early he'll get Groove. But what you can do is he's going to get Groove the turn after, at the end of the turn after this, end of turn 5. So in theory you can capture a village on turn 5 and if he decaps it it's the same as it. Like it just doesn't change anything. Ooh, Volder's quite aggressively positioned here. So this knight's going to come along, essentially threaten him. Make him not want to be close. Because of the timing on this village, mage can't consistently decap there. It's a bit unfortunate. It is a coin flip. Greenfinger could run up and potentially go for a decap. Ooh, Greenfinger is going to go for a more centered position. He's going on the road. This allows him to get close to that stronghold. Does allow him to decap this village as well. Whereas Volder's positioning here, he cannot go for this decap. But he's going to have Groove at the end of his next. Really matter too much. Seeing the thief come out. Thieves coming out on both sides. And interesting to note, this knight coming out on the bottom and like probably the right hand side for Spotyus, defending his headquarters. And we've got this knight coming out on the right hand side for TimeKey. So they're going mirrored knights. And ideally what you want is to get the knight on this side because it can threaten to decap these villages. And then threatens to decap the tower. But he hasn't even captured the tower yet. Neither player has, like. Arch comes out for Spotyus. Makes a lot of sense. They are very good at dealing with mages. Very good at on a defensive front. And just like a really useful unit in general. There's so much choky terrain here. That Archer's ability to get that +3 range is really useful. What's TimeKey gonna do? I mean, he could get himself ready to hit Greenfinger. Ooh, here's an interesting play. So Greenfinger could go for this decap next turn. And it's the same turn Volder's gonna have Groove. So Volder has to choose between using Groove and hitting Greenfinger. And that creates a bit of a conundrum because as Volder you kind of don't really want to hold Groove ever. Of course, there are situations where going for kills is way more useful, but generally speaking, you always want to just be spitting out extra soldiers because unit count's great. And when you are holding groove, you're not building groove, and Balder builds groove so quickly that it's a big waste. Like, you don't want to be sitting not using your groove. So Greenfinger could go up and hit this, and Balder would be in a bit of a difficult choice. Of course, you could just run down and slam a sword. Where can you go? Like there? And it could actually reach the archer. He wouldn't be in a great position, but oh, he's got to sit on the mountain. Three. In night crit range. I think he might even go for it. Like, Greenfinger runs through. And even if you're on a mountain, like a night crit hits really hard. Of course, you're then faced with the counter attack of a mage crit and some other stuff, so might not be the best option, but we'll see what Spotyus does. I mean, he is gonna obvious move capture. And yep, he's gonna go for it. And this creates a nice situation where this is gonna be 43%, I think, at the end of this turn, something like that. He's gonna have groove pretty soon, is the point. Okay, we're seeing Archer probably gonna move to this forest. Even if a sword swings in to try and hit the archer, which is, you know, good value, it'll be in a forest. It should be like pretty okay. 70 if you're in the forest, talking in like 50 damage. It's nice, but you can always heal the archer up again. Could even just put the knight in front. Maybe drop it on this flagstone here. Oh, it goes a bit further up. I guess the sword's gonna come down. And this knight's really useful because it's gonna threaten this mage. Kills the mage, he can get a... In this case, a harpy would probably be good. There's two knights. Dog's moving forwards. Look at what's up here. Sword and dog versus two dogs and a mage. So Spotyus has got good unit composition on this side to win this fight. And he's got enough here to defend against this. What is TimeKey gonna do? The mage, spear, nice defensive choice. Gotta be actually really good against these knights. Stick that behind everything else. All of a sudden, you come in with a knight, spear walks up and pokes you, does a lot of damage.
Rise from your grave.
Oh, not ideal. The village will live. Gets a night crit though. And this is the thing these knights are going to allow for, is getting crits on these villages. Whereas up here, okay, you know, Spotyus has a better army down here, but it doesn't capture things. So, TimeKey is going to build an econ lead. Take a look. Yep, he's already got the economy lead. Even though he doesn't have center. Ooh, but here's looking really vulnerable. You could just see Greenfinger come up. Or you can come down this way. He does have the options, like he can go up and be aggressive. And XTimeKey might have to build units to preempt that. And if he does, Spotyus can just respect those and come down. But what are the choices going to be here? Yeah, I guess he just responds to whatever's built up here. Spear comes out, so 2 spears defensive. A balloon? No, he's just gonna bank money. Might see a dragon come out next turn. Dragons being incredibly powerful in this map. Golems as well, actually. You throw a golem on these mountains, forests. It's tough. Okay, what's Spotyus gonna do? It's a pretty obvious capture. Gets his sword into a better position. Gonna go up and hit the dog. And 14% dog is not gonna be super useful. I don't know about this. Like, I feel like if you were gonna go for that, you shoot with the archer first. Now there's just this really weak sword on the road, which is kind of useful in its own way. It can threaten to do lethals later. But sword crit could come in on that and it will kill, whereas before it wouldn't. So Spotyus, he's just going to swing his army to the right. Could even see Greenfinger could go along here. As long as he avoids the night crit paths. So if he goes there, he should be safe. And honestly, Dragon might not be a bad option. I realize you're skipping 2 barracks builds to do it, but there's so much road. There's like 1 anti-air unit here. When you have this many swords, you can wall like decently. At least for 1 turn. You got your commander here as well, so. Alright, he's gonna move Greenfinger up here. Go the first round. And he's just gonna put his sword here. And dragon comes out. So yep. Going for the dragon play. If Valdor stands and fights, Valdor will die. Like a dragon will do 80% average. So he basically has to run. And now XTimeKey. What do you do as XTimeKey? Like, I guess you just try and escape. Greenfinger, I mean, like, you can go for the capture on this next. Go for the decap, and then all of a sudden you have groove. And if you're trapped down here, XTimeKey may have overextended. I don't think it's too bad yet, especially when you have 2200 gold. Builds a dragon and has 950 to spare. Looking at what he's up against, he could just keep building knights. Or an archer. Archers are good, especially against vines. You can lower their health quite a bit. A dragon won't always one-shot a vine, but an archer will make it low enough that it can sometimes, especially archer crits. Okay, what are we gonna see out of XTimeKey here? Walks back. Ooh, this is risky. I mean, he's out of range of the sword. So he's okay on that front right now. But yeah, I think the mage has to just come up to here and drop a heal. Oh. Oh, he's gonna go over here. If he could kill this sword, that mage would it go down? No, it's one tile out of range, so he's fine. But he had to move a lot of units back in range of his opponent's army. So in this circumstance, I'd still give the advantage to Spotyus. I think he can do a lot of damage to these units here. Oh, can he? No, the knight won't reach that mage. So this is a really nice position on the mage. Like in theory, like if the dragon could set it on fire, like you just burn this sword to a crisp. How much do they do? Like 250 average damage to a sword on a road? Okay, that's a pretty good hit. What's next? I don't actually know if a sword will kill in this circumstance. Oh, it does. Anyway, use the low health one. Follow up. And he's just gonna go to town, do a lot of damage. Sword crit could come in, and like you follow up with the dog. You have to be really careful with this though. 1, 2, yeah. So this can reach the dragon. The mage does cover everything. There is a cool option here where like Green Finger goes up to this and hits this village, and then the dragon just moves up to cover. And then you're only at risk on one side. Ooh, he's just gonna walk back and hit this stuff. Okay, he's gonna finish the dog off. And I guess move this mage up to cover. The dog is in range of a spear crit though. And this sword doesn't actually cover anything, so... Alright, money goes back. That's a pretty important thing, because you can just build a second dragon this turn. And just go to town. Like, you could let the mage hit the first dragon and just send a second dragon in. And Valder, ooh, he's gonna have Groove at the end of his next turn, so he doesn't really care. Like, you shouldn't really care about letting Valder hit something and getting Groove, because he's gonna have it anyway. So I think in this circumstance, Sword Crit is pretty good. I mean, you could do something like Sword Crit, move up, hit this village, dragon comes up, and you set fire to like Balder? Right, he's gonna go for it. Puts himself in a really nice safe position. Dragon can fly up cover safely. Right, Knight's just gonna trade a hit. He's gonna cover from there? Oh, I guess that does mean that he can escape this way. Okay, there's some slight mismanagement here. that should have been the sword crit, and then he should have followed up. I like the witch. The hex is going to be really useful. Bank a little bit of gold if he wants to. Another mage comes out. And a dog. So he has a little bit of gold at the end of his turn. Spotyus is doing pretty well. Despite skipping a unit build, he's still in this game. I am slightly worried about the counter attack here, but he does have an archer, which I think is pretty safe. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Alright, so a crit could come down, but the spear would hit it in return. That isn't just a regular spear, that's a hex first and then spear. And he's got vines to surround too, so. Oh, well he's gonna go that way instead and hit. The archer's pretty weak, but I don't think anything else can even follow up. Oh, this mage kind of wishes it was a bit closer. I think if he'd built it on that mountain, it would be able to reach and he could drop a heal, and that would be a bit more, offer like a bit more utility. Oh, is that, I think the mage will come in? Nope, I'm gonna go for the sword. So he's gonna weaken this army. Doesn't actually kill anything. Drop some heals. Dragon starts coming down. Needs to... I don't think he can kill this. I think he needs to just block. Yeah, and he's going to. A lot of these units are very vulnerable to getting killed now. Mage, I believe, can finish the spear off. Dog can quite easily finish this off. And this mage could just walk back and heal. I mean, hell, you could even just swing the dragon up. Ooh, this is actually quite difficult. It's hard to tell what's going to happen because they can both swing up to their opponent's stronghold and put a ton of pressure on. That can't reach that far, so the dragon could just roast one of these spears. Like this mage could just like heal. That finishes that off. This mage almost kills the spear. Okay, drops a heal. Good for the tempo. That will almost finish this off, but that's fine. Gonna hit that instead? Okay. I don't know, I feel like the dragon could have safely killed that. Mage wouldn't reach. Alright, what's this witch gonna do? What's Greenfinger gonna do? Because I think the thing Greenfinger wants to do is drop vines to prevent this stronghold from going down. But he also wants to kill a bunch of stuff first. Like a witch hex should come in. Alright, he's just gonna do a little bit of extra damage there. I think he wants to mostly just move this archer out of the way so the spear can hit. Ooh. Dragon goes for the hit. Spear will finish off. I guess maybe he runs to the forest and drops vines. Like he just says, I don't care if you have Valder or a mage crit. I'm just gonna drop like a ton of vines down and be okay. And just like runs a bunch of his units back and heals. Alright, so we got Witch coming down. So maybe he runs down, drops vines. Greenfinger's tanky enough that he can survive if in this forest just from one side. Like, take a lot of work to open up the spear. Now this knight just needs to not be where it's standing right now. Could just block. Yep. Gonna block from that side. And yeah, if this sword can kill this, probably gonna see vines here, here. Like here. And like maybe there if it will reach. You may just sack the archer though. And yep, he's just gonna stand next to the enemy commander. Ooh, right, so where we got vines? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is dead. But he cannot kill this. He does not have the firepower to take all these vines down, and the sword, and the archer. These very low health units. Gonna be hard. And oh, here's an interesting, like, well, they're surrounded. So you're forced to start clearing this stuff. And you know, builds come down. Okay, spear crit comes in. Not gonna do too much. Like, I mean, it injures the mage pretty badly, but his spears are really, really weak now. Like, this sword could finish them off if it wanted to. Okay, that makes sense. And now Valder can escape. He has to be careful with this dragon though. I think you use it to kill some of this stuff up here. In fact, if you roast this mage with the dragon, the dog can kill this. And then the dragon is completely safe. It can absolutely butcher the rest of this army up here. You don't really need it down here just yet. Like, that tile there is close enough that it could still reach back and hit. SNSQWUXJ has to think about it. He has to consider how he's going to fight down here. But you can't really build a sword somewhere where it can go and deal damage to stuff down here. This vine's really useful. Just because of that. I don't really know what this thief does. Maybe he goes and sit on this mountain. Balder's just gonna stay there? Okay. That's brave. Alright, he picks the witch off though. So yes, he's just gonna fight. And that might be the decision. You run this sword back, heal it basically to full. Yep. Doesn't really cost much money. Honestly, you could just build another dragon. The mages aren't really going to be able to fight that. And I don't think Spotyus is enough to kill. Like full health dragon, full health green finger. And like you could have a knight suicide and a sword suicide. Plus like a really, really weak archer hit. That's like what, 1 or 2%? This will do. Honestly, just 1%. Like it crits as well, so maybe you'd get 2. Probably depends on when you use it, actually. Sword hit's gonna come in. I mean, he can kill stuff. Alright, Mage Heal comes in. Are you just gonna kill this spear? Alright, so spear crit's no longer on the table. He's actually doing okay on this front now. And this is just gonna come forward. Might go for a steal on the stronghold. Hadn't really thought of that. Okay, so you've got a basically full health green finger, a basically full health, or you got a full health dragon, and you could have a very weak sword hit, and a very weak knight hit, and a very weak archer crit. But I don't think that's enough. I think like that plus that is like maybe 15%. Not even, actually. If you had a hex, maybe you could do it. Dropping it to like 85. But even then, like actually now, mountain defense is way too good. I do think dropping a mage heal is a good option. And like you could do, there's some good options here for damage, like this fine moves to here. Spear comes and kills this. There's definitely some good counter attack damage that can come out here. Oh, actually, something Spotyus could do is fly the dragon up here. And then just throw it into completely destroy the stronghold in one turn. Maybe move the knight up there as well, actually. Yeah, Spotyus actually, now that I look at it, this flies up and hits this spear. And then like I think there's enough army here to kill the stronghold, especially if you can get the knight into a position where okay, he's gonna go for the hit on the knight. I don't know, like I think this army could just swing up and it would do a lot of damage. Or threaten to do a lot of damage. Mage heal could be good here actually. Like the knight, like you move this vine out of the way. Drop a mage heal, and the knight can finish the mage off. Or at least potentially finish the mage off. Then you have your commander on full health, you got a little bit of a sword to work with. Right, he's not gonna go for it. Like, yeah, he's just gonna pull back. Is he just gonna drop a mage heal on this though? Alright, so dragon does go up. And now all of a sudden you've got 2 units defending a stronghold, one of which is injured. And a thief is so close to it. And these vines, like you could move these 2 back. This one could go to this forest. Just kind of like slow them down a little bit. Now the spear comes out, perfectly fine. There's a lot of mages, spears can hit them pretty hard. Dog comes out, it'll reach the front line a bit faster. He could just start wailing on this stronghold. Drop like mage heals and stuff. We'll see. I think XTimeKey has to kill this mage with this sword. Will that do it? Yeah. That should work. Take a look. Dog kills the archer. Sword doesn't kill! Oh, that's so unlucky. I think that's the lowest possible roll for that too. And now, like, I guess the dog has to kill it.
By my hand,
How do you come back from that mentally? Just getting not good rolls. I mean, this can at least kill the spear. Oh no, it's gonna go for the heal instead. Oh, I guess latest. Yeah, sword can do that. And the thief comes in for a steal. That gets into a decent position. I think the dog has to kill. Because otherwise that's a free mage heal that he can use. Oh, dragon comes back to defend. Okay, so XTimeKey's setting up a good defense here. Ooh, but I think he's gonna lose the dog. The green finger. And this thief, I think it was like going to threaten the stronghold or even the tower maybe. But at this point you just capture this. And you take whatever you can get. But yeah, dog comes in. Kill. Nothing can really finish this off safely. I mean, I guess like this dog could do it, but then it gets like eaten by a dragon or something. Witch comes down. Alright, and this dragon can no longer stay on this side of the map because there was a witch. Very little to threaten the witch. Ooh, the knight comes in. Leaves Greenfinger open to do something. I don't really know what though. This sword's just gonna move forward? I don't really get what this sword is trying to achieve, but... We'll go to the overview. I think TimeKey's going to pull ahead a little on this turn. In a number of factors. Okay, he's going to use this sword for something. Alright, a little bit of a roundabout path, but it works. Spotyus gets a steal. TimeKey is set up to get a steal himself though next turn, so not too big a deal. He's just gonna use that to deal damage, but I feel like this sword, like the dragon will kill this, and then the mage will grow up and hit this. Or even like this mage could run up and kill the sword, and then mage hit, dragon hit, and then there's no anti-air on this side of the map anymore. Right, so the dragon just moves back safely. Doesn't really have too many places it can attack. This witch covers this 5. Let me get that right. 4 mages. I saw the health and I said 5. So 4 mages and a witch. I think Spotyus is looking on the back foot. TimeKey has opportunities to do damage here. Right. A little bit of damage on the sword with this one. Doesn't even need to do that, honestly. You could have just healed. And now we're going to see mage come in. Dragon finish off. And yep, no more anti-air. This is dead. Like, the dragon's just gonna chase it down. And I think TimeKey just has to play pretty safely here. Like, he's gonna kill this beef pretty easily. He has to be fairly careful on this front. He could even just walk back. Like, sometimes that's just the best option, is just to move back. He has plenty of time. There are only 26 minutes left on the clock and they're on turn 11. So they're playing at a pretty good pace right now. And yeah, I think he's realized that he just has to back off. Lick his wounds, like, this knight can get healed, this mage can get healed. He can let the vines die out a bit. Greenfinger's not got groove again. for a while, so yeah, he's not in a hurry. And once these start getting to like 4 health or 2 health, then swords can just mop them up, so yeah, probably just gonna see swords move back. This knight's probably gonna heal off this village. And then like this dragon covers a lot of here, this witch covers a lot of here. I do think the dragon's gonna fly down here and just eat this. Mage comes down. He just wants a lot of anti-air. He wants a lot of heals as well. Being able to just like throw tons of heals on your army is really nice. There's nothing here that can really finish the army off, then being able to just take a bunch of hits without dying and then like heal up, retaliate when you can. There we go, heal comes down. Dog moves into position. This is super safe. And this village means that it has all the mobility it needs to go forward when it wants to. Enderman in the chat making fun of me saying TimeKey just has to play safe. I mean, TimeKey can play safe. And I think he knows well enough that he can lose games pretty easily. Actually, something really important to note here that I haven't really been talking about. Spotyus, 4 of those units are vines. So the reason his unit count looks so thin is because the vines are units. So he's down 5 units at the end of his turn, in theory. And I guess he's just going to be really aggressive now. Goes for a dog. I don't really know what else he can follow that up with though. In theory, this dragon could like roast this mage. Will it kill? 70? Nah, it won't actually kill the mage. Actually, it would take enough counterattack damage that like this mage plus this, plus like I guess a heal would be thrown down on it and it would kill the dragon. Is he just gonna walk in? And ooh, that's actually good spacing. Oh, he was actually really close to having like a lethal in there as well. Like if this knight had been able to reach that square, like that would probably be a dead Valder. I guess he just tries to be aggressive. But I don't think this is going to work out. I think a hex is going to come down. And it'll be absolutely brutal in return. I think Spotyus is about to lose this game. But we'll see. I mean, he could bring it back. But he only needs to open up one side. He only needs to kill this knight. And this will be a 90% health knight too, so... yeah, you just drop heals where you need them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this could reach here and drop heals on both. So you've got like a mage crit that's almost full health. And a pretty healthy Valder. You could drop double heal on him. In theory. He runs down here, hits, mage crit, follow up with like a witch hex. And that isn't lethal by itself, but it is really close. And actually, swords as well. Could even drop possibly 2 mage heals on this sword. And that's a bit more damage. So you might even be able to do it with 2 sides, in theory. Yeah, you can actually get this to about 54%. So that's dealing like 7% damage. So mage crit, but full health, because you can actually get both these mages to heal both of them, I think. Like, I think if that goes there, it can actually reach. And then, like, these 2 mages can drop heals on Valder. Oh, but he can't. Oh, that's interesting. Right, so he can't. He doesn't have money. And actually, no, he can't, because he'll need the hex. Right. I mean, I guess you could just not even try and go for a lethal this turn. It's probably the more sensible option. I do think the hex is worth it though. Especially because it catches some of these vines. And if you do it well enough, I think... Oh, you can't quite get through to this. And that's really what you want to. But, you know, you can do stuff like you could just throw both knights into this. Just heal Valder. Or you could just walk back, heal your army, finish off up here, roast this because it's a free kill, and just have the dragon chase stuff down. Like mage crit on here, or even, no, the knight won't reach. Yeah, TimeKey could literally just walk back a bit more. And that's probably more worthwhile than trying to just go for some lethal. Because, alright, like he's behind on income, but that isn't going to be the case forever. Hell, like you could even like steal this village and go for a capture on it afterwards. So he could bring the income back. And punish his opponent. Like, Spotyus could be down 300 gold. He could be down like more on income. This sword is going to get roasted. This thief is going to get roasted. Uses the dog? Sure, why not? Only this mage can kill it. Well, this mage is like the optimal thing to kill it now. Ooh, the dragon could just come and roast that. Pretty safe to do it from above. Then you just go for a steal on here. Yeah, it is safe. That tile is completely safe. Actually, if you roast this with the dragon this turn, it's in range to kill stuff next turn. Valder just walks back and heals. This walks back and heals. This sword walks back. You wait for these vines to die out a bit more. Green finger stays. Ooh, is he gonna go for it? I really don't know why he threw a heal there and not there. Maybe he's gonna try and sacrifice this mage to kill this knight. And like open up on 3 sides? I don't think that's gonna work though. What's the plan here? Are we gonna see a hex follow up? I don't understand why he wouldn't heal this mage too. Okay. Oh, he's gonna kill the knight with Valder? Okay. But why wouldn't you heal this too? Like, this could have been a full health mage. He's gonna drop another heal? Okay. Sword crit comes in? Sure. This is very awkward. Like, this could have just been a full health mage. Or like... There's no reason it wouldn't be. Alright, dragon comes in to finish a dog off. Okay, it's a bit overkill, but... Why not? Are you gonna cover any of this? I think you want to cover this dog with the witch. Nope, witch comes over here. Alright, we're gonna see this come forwards. This mage come forward too. And probably double sword by? Yep, more swords. Sure, that was a very bizarre way to take that turn, but it works out, so why not? These vines are now weak enough for swords to start killing them. And even though I'm saying that's a weird turn, like, there's not much counter attack damage potential here. So like, he does a lot of damage. Spotyus is now further on the back foot. He's below on unit count despite 4 of those units being injured vines. So he's got this very small ragtag army left. And I guess just dealing a huge amount of damage to those knights, like killing one, heavily damaging the other. The knights are pretty big threats, so he just takes them off the board. And then all of a sudden, like, there's not really much to come back. Like, the one thing you want for comebacks in this game is units that can open up lethals, and knights are definitely units that can get lethals. You want your dragon. Your mage is actually pretty good as well if you can get a crit off. Your commander obviously is really good. Archers are really useful. They can deal a bit of extra damage. A witch could come out. Hex is great when it's on the board. This knight can't even heal anywhere, so maybe it's going to be saved for like a suicide crit. Alright, that just walks up and hits. Sure, why not? This mage is going to cover this dog. Oh, is this going to jump up on this mountain? Kind of has to, otherwise, like, dragon flies left, kills. Okay. Sure, why not? That's like a bit awkward, but you can actually just honestly go and kill this. The mage, like, you could see a mage come out and just try to cover this thief so the dragon can't threaten it anymore. But honestly, like, picking off a free sword is quite nice and threatening to hit the mage, and I mean, you could just see it. You can't, this can't kill this dog anymore because the mage is here. Alright, what are you gonna do with this knight? And now Spotyus is behind in every way. He's behind in time, he's behind in units, he's behind, I think he's almost behind in, so he's even on income. It's the only thing he's really got going for him. But he's going to be even at the end of his turn. Ooh, knight comes out. He wants that for the lethal. They are pretty good. And yeah, another mage comes out. And if you're a TimeKey, I honestly think this flies over here and kills that. You just like... Honestly, you might even just pick off the vines at this point. But I think a lot of this stuff wants to get healed. You could buy a balloon and just fly the thief back. It's a big investment just to get a thief back to the hideout, but you then have a balloon available for later. Right, he's just gonna kill the vines.
Rise from your grave.
This is gonna hit the archer. Gonna be very useful. No, it's gonna hit the village. Oh, he's gonna go for income. This is a bit scary because... Oh, but there's no counter attack really. Like this can't... No, this could crit. This could hit from above or the side. And the sword could hit from a mountain. And an archer can come in. So he's a little vulnerable. But I fear it's not vulnerable enough. Especially like if this knight comes in and blocks on the forest. Or it could even like, you could even sack the knight to hit a sword. He's gonna put his army behind there. And it's almost like he's just baiting at this point. He just really wants the army to come crashing in on Valder. And what is there? There's like a knight suicide, there's a sword that can hit. It won't die. That's not really worth it. He could clear this sword. So he may, and this is if this is a TimeKey death, I'm gonna be so sad. Because knight suicide, sword isn't weak enough to suicide, but it could hit. And you could even see the knight get healed first and the sword get healed first and go for that. And that could be a sword crit from the mountain too. So what are we looking at? Sword crit, full health. Knight suicide, I guess that would be first. Archer hit. Dragon hit. Mage crit. That might be enough. 10, what do you do? Like 22, 30. Knight hit at like 40% is gonna be 12. Actually, this might be enough. There may very well be a lethal on the board here. He might have just walked his commander into it. He needed like the witch to be here or on this mountain. Because then like a mage heal couldn't come down. Spotyus might see this. And I think he might very well go for it too. Because he doesn't really have anything else to go for. And when you're this far behind, it is like ultimately a last ditch effort. Like he's now 8 units behind at the start of his turn. And I think a 38% knight could hit and die in return. I even think that's guaranteed. Alright, we'll do enough damage to start opening up other options. But really just comes down to will he see it. Mage shield comes down. Knight crit, or knight hit. Green finger moves up to kill sword. Sword crit from mountain. Archer hit. Mage crit, dragon hit. I think that's enough. And despite having played a really good game this entire game, TimeKey might have just walked into lethal. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see if he goes for it. We're gonna see if he spots it. He's got 15 minutes on the clock. Probably about 14 minutes at this point. I think he's seen it. Is he gonna go for it? I mean, I think there's some rolls in here as well. Alright. Knight Suicide goes in 10%. That's pretty good. I think it might be enough. Archer goes in. Archer gets 11. That's a good roll on the Archer. And I think this is it. I think he's going to clear. I think he's going to get a sword crit in next. Dragon hit might make more sense. Alright, does the mage crit first. 43. This is lethal. He's dead. Absolutely guaranteed. 3%. Yeah. Sword does it. And that's it. Spotyus finds the lethal. And TimeKey, in the most classic TimeKey maneuver ever, has a massive lead and walks straight into a lethal. Oh my god. How TimeKey, how do you keep doing this? I'm gonna be mean a bit, because it's been like a year and a half and you're still walking your commander into lethals when you have big leads. And we're gonna go to a game 3. Are we gonna go to a game 3 right now? Maybe. I don't know. I'm pretty tired.